Hi, this is Sage to the Stage. I'm a vocal coach and a musician, and if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. Today, I'm going to listen, analyze, and react to a band called Iron Maiden and the song called Hallowed Be They Name. Live performance. I'm not going to be one of those people that say that they never heard of Iron Maiden because maybe that will attract more viewers or something. That would seem more wow, because I've heard of them. And not only have I heard of them, I've been introduced to Iron Maiden very early on in my life. I've been surrounded by people that I should say really have great music taste. And I think I've heard about Iron Maiden first when I was 10 or 11. My cousin listened to them. A lot of my friends were listening to heavy metal and also to Iron Maiden as well. But I wasn't really listening to Iron Maiden too much. I know most of their iconic songs like Fear of the Dark, Run to the Hills, Trooper, Phantom of the Opera, stuff like that. But I don't think, or I at least can't remember that I've ever listened to this song. I'm probably guessing that I might have heard it in the go, but to tell you the truth, I'm not really sure. So I think this is my first listen to this song. And just to be clear, I'm not saying anything bad to people that have never heard about Iron Maiden, but I just find that very hard to believe. Maybe that's because I'm coming from the background from people that were really listening to kind of classic music or classic rock and heavy metal music. I don't know, that's just weird to me, but let's leave that for another time. For now, let's go check out the song.
I'm waiting in my cold cell when the bell begins to chime, reflecting on my past life, and it doesn't have much time, 'cause at 5 o'clock they take me to the gallows pole.
Whoa, dark.
The sands of time for me are running.
Okay, maybe I've heard this song. I remember this part. Yeah, I've definitely heard it at least once. Okay, let me pause it there. First of all, I'm going to leave the link to this performance. You can check it out, without interruptions. But this is an analysis channel, so I have to stop it and talk a little bit about it. Man, Bruce Dickinson, that guy is just an incredible singer. First of all, I have to say, there are a lot of good singers out in the world, but there aren't many good, at least not in my opinion, aren't many good frontmen. And what I mean by that, there aren't these people that are basically, I think he can whisper and it would sound amazing. And this guy has maybe one of the better pronunciations that I've ever heard. I've read the lyrics of this song. I wanted to check out what's it about, and it seems like it's about this guy who's on his deathbed or something like that, and just thinking about life, thinking about the passing of life. I just scrolled through it just a bit so I can get a general idea of the song, and because of his clear pronunciation, I really sometimes these singers are kind of singing muddy and singing without a clear diction, and it's hard for me to understand it. So sometimes, I check the lyrics before. But in this particular case, I don't even think that I had to do that. He has such a strong diction, and the best thing about it is that it doesn't interfere with his singing. Because singers that sometimes, work so much to pronounce every single word, sometimes lose that legato when they're singing. But no, not this guy. This guy has such an amazing energy, and even though he's kind of a raw singer, he's a heavy metal singer, he doesn't lose energy for a second, He's really singing these deep lines and these high lines now when the guitars and the drums kicked in, and it just sounds so upfront. It just hits you hard. And man, this guy, just by listening to this part, you can just tell he's an amazing singer, I heard that he had some trouble with the throat cancer in recent years. I think that's gone now, but I'm not completely sure. But man, that lifestyle, and he's been singing for ages now. I mean, that can happen to anybody. But man, this guy really has a great technique when it comes to heavy metal, for sure. Let me just listen to a couple of parts that I really enjoyed so I can tell you a bit more about him.
On my past life, and
man, the way he does those downward glissandos, meaning he slides from one note to another, but it's very upfront, he doesn't fall back into his throat. It's very frontally placed. It's basically like he's singing through his teeth. That's how I would say aggressive, but it's not aggressive in the terms like he's, pushing too much. But it just has that kind of energy that's very well focused. That's the word, focus, that I was looking for. Very good.
'Cause at 5 o'clock they take me to the gallows pole.
And for sure, this guy has a kind of a dramatic feel when he's singing. He basically has some opera, qualities to his singing. And I enjoy opera, I enjoy the quality of opera singing. I enjoy opera singing especially because I'm classically trained. I've actually finished a university for solo singing, opera singing, and vocal pedagogy. And this guy definitely has some of that, quality, that dramatic kind of quality. I think he would be even a great theater singer, like musical theater, because he really knows how to emphasize which parts. Just a lovely character in his voice. Amazing. But this is probably the best part.
Sands of
Time!
are running low.
And this vibrato, it's so natural. And he's really, man, this is a long note to hold. Damn. And these belts. He starts belting and he adds that rasp in his voice at the end. So listen to this one more time. So one thing that I can surely hear in this performance is that he's letting his tongue out, which is kind of a weird thing to see. You can't see it on the footage, but I'm definitely sure that he does this. Oh. So he's singing something like this. The sounds of time for me are running low. And just holding that one note, very rounded vocals, very well. Very amazingly good, it sounds so good, but that's not even the hardest part of this part. And we've just started listening to the song. I love this part. Belting. And for sure he spits his tongue out there to get this rasp in his voice. He's singing, yeah! I don't know. Such a great voice. This guy's a perfect vocalist.
When the praise comes to raid me the last night, take a look to the bars of the last night of a world that has gone very wrong to me.
Damn, this is hard to do.
That there's some sort of error. Understand the surmounting terror. Is it really the end of some crazy dream? Somebody please come in and I'm dreaming. It's not easy to stop from screaming. The words escape me when I try to speak. Can't go, but why am I crying? After all, I'm not afraid of dying. Could I believe that there never is an end?
Okay, I have to stop here. There's not a perfect place to pause these videos because, the music is so good. You just, I feel so bad when I have to pause it. But, that's just how this thing works. I want to say something about the guitars. The guitars in Iron Maiden, at least to my knowledge, always have this beautiful melodic lines. They're not just, butchering like fast solos all the time, but they really have this singable solos. And that's what I always enjoy. And not just solos, but these melodies in between the chorus, the refrain, and stuff like that. And often the two guitars are playing in thirds or in sixth intervals, I believe. And this just gives it this kind of, I don't know, a fighting kind of quality. And whenever I'm listening to this kind of music, it always makes me pumped up. I just have such good energy that it's so good. For example, today I wasn't feeling too good. I don't know. I just had a lousy day, nothing too special. But man, I'm feeling so energized by listening to this performance. And that's something that I think music nowadays lacks. It's just not that. It doesn't have this feeling. That's hard to explain, but it really, I don't know. And people talking that autotune is necessary or that singers nowadays, have to use autotune. I mean, listen to this guy. I think we as singers and especially pop singers, I'm not saying that all pop singers are bad or something. I mean, there are incredible great singers. Ariana Grande is like a perfect singer. She can sing anything, and a lot of them use autotune because it's kind of an aesthetic. It gives it a certain sound. I just think that producers and singers just got a bit lazy. I mean, listen to these kind of songs. This just has this. And songs today just lack a bit of that, I don't know, raw, real energy. I really like the guitars here. And this kind of music always makes me feel good. This is something that I grew up listening to, not Iron Maiden particularly, but but I was born on classic rock music and heavy metal. And I even had some periods of my life when I was really listening to power metal, which I believe drew a lot of inspiration from Iron Maiden. Just listen to the way power metal guitarists play, and you will probably hear a lot of Iron Maiden influence. Now, one thing that I have to give big props to Iron Maiden and especially to Bruce are these parts.
Of a world that has gone very wrong to me.
Like these rhythm parts.
Tell me that there's some sort of error. Understand the surmounting terror. Is it really the end of some crazy
I mean, first of all, that gives so much drama to the song. Second of all, they leave a lot of space for Bruce's voice to just shine through. It's not like he wouldn't shine through with the guitars as well. But man, this part is very hard to sing. First of all, it's very high. It has a lot of distortion in his vocal. But this is the thing about Bruce. He's a very unique singer. A lot of singers that sing heavy metal either rely too much on distortion or belting, but sometimes lack in softness and in a relaxed voice. Bruce, I believe, has it all. You've heard how he started the song, but this high part and these fast lines that he's singing, first of all, very hard to pronounce in this high register, but somehow he's combining belting and just a little bit of shouting and making it sound wonderful, because any other singer would just sound awful shouting like this, really shouting. But he's really focusing on his breath support here. He's really using his support, his appoggio wonderfully. And he wouldn't be able to pull this song off, and not just this song, but whole concerts that sometimes last up to 3 hours or even more. He would get tired. I mean, this guy has so much energy. I'm really not sure where he's getting it all. But perfect control, his belts. It just feels like he almost never gets tired. Interesting. I like that. Okay, let me just talk a bit about the music. Iron Maiden is surely one of the more rhythmical bands, I would say. They were kind of playing the melodic lines and the guitars always the same, then they switched it up a bit. They're still in the same time signature, but the structure of the melody has changed, and the strong beats are kind of not in the same spots that they were before. So this gives it kind of this interesting shift. But not only that, the drummer is following the riff perfectly, just playing on the snare every single part of the riff. And one thing that I especially like when it comes to the drummer is how he's finishing every single part of the riff by playing the crash cymbal, I believe. He's kind of doing toon toon. That's, I believe, a syncopated rhythm. So listen. And he's always doing this. He goes with a snare and then goes with a crash cymbal. Wow. Bruce is just amazing here. I just love that break every time. Woo! This shit is getting serious now. I feel like dragons are gonna come. This makes me want to run. Run to the hills. Just kidding. Changing the pickup line. Hell yeah. Pickup pattern. Changing it once again. I want to jump off. Jump out of my skin. Oh, man. No? Okay, let me pause it here just for a second because so much things are going on. First of all, this is a band. This is how a band should act. They are all perfectly balanced here. I can't say that one is better from the other. I mean, Bruce is an amazing singer, but the other guys are just as great musicians. I mean, this is a perfect combo, and this is what a band should be about. This is how I often think about bands. They are a synergy. They are basically like a math equation that goes 2 and 2 is not 4, but it's 5, because every single member adds something new to the table. And when you put everything together, you get something brand new, something that probably nobody can do. And especially when you've done something like Iron Maiden, because they are basically, well, they are kind of pioneers of heavy metal, I would say. They have made this sound. There were bands before, but I don't think anybody really had this kind of a unique sound, especially in the rhythm sections. I'm not saying just drums, but these melodic patterns that the bass and the guitars are doing and how they're changing it up. And especially when the drum went. This is just masterful. Beautiful. Just makes me wanna, I don't know, fight an army. But they are so perfectly balanced, I just want to say this before I forget. Music nowadays is almost always quantized, meaning everything is put to the grid, and everything is corrected in the computer, which basically means that there aren't any imperfections or that the rhythms are completely correct, but that just kind of makes it sound sterile. It's just robbed of this air of the music, the life of the music. But these guys sound like they are, they sound better than a computer. They are so perfectly, on the grid, but still not on the grid. The music is kind of flowing, but it's never, they're never speeding up the song. This is basically always in the same BPM, and that's, and they're not even playing to a click track or anything. This is just pure musicianship. This is what we're missing today in music. Damn it, man. Still holding it, damn it. This is what music is all about. I just want to listen to this last part once again because Bruce was amazing here. This guy has to have some epic lungs and just the perfect breath control to pull this off. Let's listen to this one more time. Yeah! Okay, let me let me time this. Let me see how long he's, actually belting this note. Okay, I think I'm ready. So that's around 11 seconds, maybe 12-second belt. Damn, man. One thing that I really love about this belt is that he's not singing it always in the same way. He's starting very wide, like with a very wide throat, with a very open mouth. Then as he progresses, he is narrowing it down. He's narrowing his vocal cords, making it really, really focused. And I'm going to point out where that exactly happens. So let's listen to this one more time. So he starts very open, powerful, raspy, and here, when he goes to that E sound, majestic, like this guy is a king. So we're going to listen to this one more time. So he starts very wide, very open mouth. Then he's basically kind of closing up his vocal cords just a bit so he can really get that focused energy, like laser beam focused vocal. It's almost like he's singing that last part through his front teeth, it's so upfront. And the energy, he's not lacking energy ever. This guy is, what is he? So let's listen to this last part one more time. Whew. I'm getting ready for it. Just focus on his mouth. Very open. And as he goes down, here he switches to that E. Laser beam focus tone. Brutal. But this part is so great. I love the ending. And what else to say? I mean, this is what music should be all about. This is what a perfect symbiosis in a band sounds like. When you have, different people, but when they're put together, they give more than the sum of their parts. This is the synergy. Like 2 and 2 is not 4, it's 5. In this case, it's like 7. It's just so good. And this is the music that I grew up listening to. Maybe not Iron Maiden in particular, but I've been raised on classic rock and just this heavy sound. And man, I'm missing it so much in this modern music. I'm just not sure why people are kind of avoiding this music. This is so powerful. This makes me want to fight an army. It just gives me so much energy. But this guy, I'm listening to him, and at the same time, he's giving me energy, but at the same time, I'm feeling tired because of him, because this is an exhausting song. And think about it, he's not just singing this one. He's singing a 3-hour-long concert, sometimes even longer. And he just doesn't lose energy. I'm sure anybody who has seen them live, I'm not that person, but I'm pretty sure anybody who has seen them live will confirm my claim or my opinion. What else to say? This this is just perfect. I really enjoyed this one. I hope you did too. If you did, like it, share with your friends, consider subscribing, hit that bell to get notified about my next videos. If you would like to see these videos before anybody else, consider becoming a part of my Patreon page, because that's what really makes this channel possible. You get entitled to some awesome perks. Check it out, there's something for everybody there. If you would like to support in some other way, consider treating me to a cup of coffee with a link in the description. Think about it, coffees aren't that expensive, but every single thing adds up in the end and helps me make better and better videos for you guys. I always send a private thank you message to anybody that chooses to support, so if you decide to support, you will get a private thank you response from me as well. And what can I say? This really brought me back to my childhood. All this music that I've been listening to, you know, this heavier music, I really miss it. And let me know in the comment sections which bands or which songs you would like me to react to next. I'm really looking forward to your suggestions. And what can I say? You look wonderful, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.